Already welcome, I think. Is it? Oh. Hold on, camera's acting up. I'll put us in queue here. Do the classic unplug it, plug it back in. Okay. I don't remember where we are. 38, okay. I think we ended up winning our last 2 or 3. It was another rough night last night. There are nerfs to Nautilus. I just did a video about that I'm going to release tomorrow, but I can go ahead and pull up the sheet for you guys and show you sort of what it is and give you my TLDR thoughts on it between games. So it's likely to be this. Although those changes aren't, definitely are not finalized. A lot of them are not on the PBE. It's just a Riot tweet about it saying that these are likely the changes. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Sorry for the delay. I've had to fill out just a bunch of emails. Been shooting emails all day. Students asking about their first project, which is due next week, which is way too fast, but
You used to be cool.
what's up, Marcus, Matt, Badger? Good to see you again, buddy. Aaron, Leon, Manrique Taboko. Sorry, probably butchered that. Brandon, Gray, Marcus, Marcelo. What's up, everybody? Duck. Alright, so we did pretty well with Nami last time. Very small sample size, but we'll try her out. She is one of my most played of all time. Obviously, haven't played her a ton recently, but anyways, a couple of the major changes they're doing: Stormrazor going from 55 to 50 AD, which is a pretty big hit on that, especially to Kaisa. That might throw off her transformation checkpoints, which I'm not sure. Like, I haven't done the math on that. If that goes through, I'll do the math and figure it out. Cloak of Agility, they're bringing back down to 20%, which is a massive, massive nerf to crit ADCs. And a lot of people, you know, have said, a lot of other commentators that are talking about these potential patch notes have said that that's because of the multi-crit build, crit cloak build, which I recommended, or I said could really be a thing at the very beginning of the preseason. And then some of the Koreans picked up on that, have started building, you know, 3 crit cloaks, like Infinity Edge 3 crit cloak builds. And they said that's too OP, and I'm just thinking, like, well, there's an easy fix to this. Just make them unique, like you do with Serrated Dirk or Forbidden Idol or anything else that has a stat that could be too good if stacked really cheaply. But instead, they just decided to nerf all of it, no matter what, which I think is terrible. Unless they're keeping the bonus crit on the items, like maybe it's only 20% on the Cloak of Agility, but maybe I don't know. No, that would still be a nerf. Because a lot of the completed items will still be 25% crit, I think. But it was really that crit cloak itself that gave people a bit more power. So we got like mid lane Tristana. They have some weird stuff going. Oh, we have Jace, though. Jace is... Unless this dude's a god on Jace. Jace is in a pretty bad place. He did recently get a couple of buffs, but he's got a good win rate on Jace. That's good. So we basically have a filled Syndra and Misfortune. They've got a filled Diana and Bard. Okay. Anyways, that's a change to Cloak of Agility, so that's going to be a pretty big nerf. And then, Aphelios is getting some more nerfs on his guns, which will probably be pretty significant. Nautilus is getting his Q damage nerfed by 10 per rank on Q. How do I feel about top lane and Hashinishin's views? I haven't heard Hashinishin's specific views. I assume he's complaining and thinking that top lane is not good. I don't think that's true right now. I think that a lot of the most busted champions that I've encountered that have a lot of problems are top lane. Like, lately, that's been the theme of the last week is, you know, top laner feeds, dies like 8 times in lane, and then they have some sort of unstoppable top laner, whether it's Darius, or Fiora, or Mordekaiser, or Jax. I feel like top lane is really strong right now. If you're playing a champ that's set, that's another one. I feel like it's very strong if you're playing a champ that can, like, really hard dominate 1v1s and snowball. So I assume he's probably complaining that, like I said, that top lane is bad because that's kind of, he always does that. He's always like, oh, Season 4 was the glory days of top. It's been trash ever since then. Tanks are too damn strong. Hey, what's up, Lost Commissar? Divine. But yeah, I mean, the strongest roles right now, I think that mid lane is probably most influential. And then either jungler or top lane, and then I think bot lane's probably least influential. There are some bot laners that are pretty strong, like Misfortune's strong. There's a couple others, but especially after next patch where it looks like they're nerfing ADC like pretty hard. If I had bubble there, they may have died. Oh, never mind. I don't have ward. Okay, Diana's top.
An ally has been slain.
You think there'd be enough to talk on a guide about calculated aggression in lane and team fights? Yeah. Sure, I could do that. The difference, like how to find a balance between too much aggression and too little. I mean, some of that's going to be matchup dependent, but I could talk about the kinds of qualities you should be looking for those types of things. I told her we needed a ward. I think she has a ward available. Mine just came up. I think the problem, like for a lot of players that are potentially like gold and lower, is too little aggression. And I think that in platinum it starts to become too much aggression. Maybe somewhere in mid gold it starts to become too much aggression. It's sort of just my really like generalized idea about it. Their Rakan campaign. Hey, Lost Commissar. Hey, I would like to revisit them. I haven't done them in a while. Someone else did donate recently for a. I do need to finish the Dark Elf campaign. I know it's been a couple weeks since I've consistently posted. With school coming up, and just other stuff I've had going on, I just haven't been as good about that as I would like to be. So I definitely are going to start posting up probably this weekend again. So I still have 4 more episodes left in the Dark Elf campaign. She's pretty much out of mana. Yeah, someone donated for, they gave me a choice on different things. I think it was Lizardmen, maybe High Elves. But yeah, I would like to do a Luther Harkon at some point. Yeah, he probably is the strongest Legendary Lord. I don't think I've played him. I played Silostra, who was really good. I don't know if SFO fixed that or whatever, but like the ghosts were just so strong. The AI just didn't really have a good way to deal with the ghosts. They just never had the right composition. The Sirens, and you got a huge discount on all the Sirens and things like that. Hey, thanks, Dylan. I guess we'll just get Ardent. Because I already got the Fairy Charms. Could have maybe gone for more Athene. Yeah. And you're facing Lizardmen early on with her too, for the most part, I think, and they just don't have any like magic damage, not just spells, but like. Damn it. She would have just not got caught for like one more second. At least we got Syndra popping off, I guess. That's the standard. ADC goes 0-3. Trying to at least pull her away from Syndra. I think we're all gonna die. Here's the Darius. We went a little too far there. If Lee Sin hit that original Q, I think we could have gotten out in time, but he missed it. I think we just had to give up on the play it after that point. Oh, I need to get a sweeper. Can you just stop, Misfortune? Just stop, man. I can't pick my lane mates, man. It's solo queue. It's not like arranged vibes. Unless I want to dodge like every game. I mean, part of winning in solo queues, you gotta figure out how to win around bad teammates. I mean, the person may not be bad all the time. They might just be having a bad game, but it feels like everybody's always having a bad game in my games. But I'm sure, you know, I'm not the only person that feels that way. I just tend to remember the bad players a lot more than the good players. Thanks, Dylan.
Calculated aggression guide, please.
Could have maybe healed him a little bit faster. And a stat. I don't know what a comp here is. Well, it depends on what they said. If you're asking, am I ever open to changing my mind about stuff? Of course. But I'm not gonna play something like in isolation just because someone with a higher rank than me tells me to play it. Like, I'm gonna consider more context than that. I don't just look and say, oh, Pro Guides has a, you know, Challenger Council that says I should be playing these champs, therefore I'm gonna play those champs. Like, I consider it, sure. Alright. Okay, well, I guess I learned a word. I've never heard that word before. Usually it's just like peer, like someone that's your peer. But yeah, I mean, I would consider it. I would say I would consider it, yeah. But when you're saying, like, change my opinion at all, that makes it sound like I would never ever reconsider, like, the ideas that I have, even if someone who is a higher rank than me says it's good, because I never change my mind on anything. Like, the way that that's phrased, that's what it sounds like. I don't know if that's, like, what you're intending there, but that's how it sounds. And I don't think I'm that extreme. I think I, you know, adjust my views on things all the time.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Yeah. I mean, I look at all of these things. I look at all sorts of different metrics and different people that write about stuff, but then I do, you know, some of my own reasoning with it as well. Usually with most, as with most guys, like, some things I really agree with and, you know, like a lot with what some of the guides say, with what some people recommend. And then some things I will disagree with. It just depends. Actually, I do. I mean, that was one of my specialties, was Victorian literature, so that was kind of my thing I focused on. And I guess I just don't remember seeing it. But yeah, so if you're asking, do I consider what other people think when I'm forming my opinion, the answer is yes. Sort of. I mean, I think it depends on the person. So I don't think there are that many things in the world. I mean, I see what you're saying. I don't think there are that many things in the world that are purely objective outside of, like, math. And even, like, statistics and things like that are somewhat subjective because it depends on, like, your methodology and, you know, people make a qualitative judgment on how solid the methodology is and what the findings reflect. It's usually correlative, right? It's forming a correlation, not trying to establish some kind of hardline fact, in a sense, like most statistical data. And you're trying to think of, like, how reliable is that correlation. But I do change. I mean, like, if you just look at, like, a tier list from 2 years ago and a tier list today, like, it changes. I mean, some of that is data-driven, but some of it's also just, like, meta-driven. Like, people understand, like, Misfortune has probably been good for a while, you know, and people just didn't really play her with that build. You know, so there's a lot of stuff. Like, people right now are saying that Soraka's really good. mean, Soraka's a great example of something that a lot of people missed during the preseason because they didn't understand what objectively had changed about her, but there had been several things that had changed in terms of the meta that really favored her. And I was one of the only people that had her really high up there. I think that Bizzleberry did have her fairly high up there, but a lot of people didn't. And so, I mean, sometimes I go against the grain of what, like, most analysts and websites are going to say, and then sometimes I don't. Like, I think Rakan's a lot better than most people are giving him credit for, but I agree that Nautilus is fairly valued, that he's, you know, about as strong as people think he is, which is to say very strong. So it just depends. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to change my mind just because someone says, hey, I think something different. I'm not going to automatically say, oh, you know what, I'm going to disregard all of the hours of research and contemplation that I've had about this topic and just believe whatever they tell me to believe. I know, but this is themed around, like, the kinds of discussions we've had in the past for, you know, a long time. Dead. I might just die here. Yeah, I mean, once again, it's contextual, Doc. Like, I'm not just gonna believe what somebody else says if they disagree with me if I don't think it's correct. If they make a very compelling case for something, then yes, I would be willing to change my understanding. But I'm not gonna completely defer to somebody else. I'm not gonna say, you know what? I'm not sure how I feel about this champion, so, like, I mean, sometimes if it's not a supporter, it's not something that I encounter a lot, I don't know a ton about, I will preface whatever I say with, I'm not an expert in this, you know, you should probably check out this person or this person, maybe, but, like, there's gonna be very little where I don't have, or I haven't formed some sort of, like, understanding of whatever it is. Like, yes, I mean, I do consider what other people say. I think the short end of what you're saying is, yes, I do consider what other people say, but I don't automatically assimilate what they're saying, you know? Like, I critically engage with it. I don't just say, oh, someone higher ranked than me said this, okay, it's gotta be true. Like, I mean, in a big... Let me get there. I think a huge part of this is that a lot of high-end, like, challenger people, when they, you know, make their tier lists or make their assessments, they are primarily talking from their own experience, which is going to be challenger most of the time. So they're not thinking about how does this champion, like, how would it operate in gold, or how would it operate under these different conditions. They're just thinking, okay, this is, you know, what I think about this champion. So a lot of people have a hard time doing that. I mean, I'm not perfect at it either, but a lot of people have a hard time sort of thinking about, like, multiple ELO brackets. Like, LS is a great example of this, right? And he'll come out and say it, like, you know, he doesn't really think about or consider, you know, non-pro games when he's making his tier list or talking about his tier list. I think that's one reason why I think you need to be critically engaged and think carefully about what somebody says, is because You know, they may not be thinking about a certain elo bracket, and they may not be thinking about your own personal situation on a champ. And I tell people to do that with my ideas too. Is like, don't just take exactly what I say. Don't always play, you know, what I say is what I think is the #1 champion on a given tier list. You just think about it for yourself. Like, I'm just giving people ideas and thoughts about why I think certain champions are on certain power levels. But if you're, you know, an awesome Thresh one-trick, like, keep playing Thresh if you win a lot, even though I don't have him ranked that highly. I mean, I think you should always be critically engaged and always trying to generate a better understanding of the game from multiple perspectives. But yeah, I mean, yes, I do consider what other people say. And I can, you know, and I also advise people most of the time when they're watching my tier list to also consider, you know, their own experiences and what other potential people say as well. You should always have multiple perspectives in pretty much anything if you're trying to become a better, you know, critical thinker, which I think should be a goal of pretty much anybody. Why? She stepped up.
An ally has been slain.
It's fine. I mean, what Duck's saying. Yeah, just chill and chat. It's fine. I appreciate Bulma trying to protect me, but you know, Duck and I are just having a conversation. It's fine. I think both people are fine. But I do that. I mean, that's what doing your research is, Duck. That's how I interpret it anyways. Like, looking at what other people have said and how they're interpreting it. That is the research. You know, you can look up stats on stuff. I guess that could be considered research as well, but yeah, I mean, that is included in my research. Is watching, like, LS's patch notes, is whenever Bizzleberry does a tier list, looking at his tier list, looking at Pro Guide's tier list, looking at, Mobalytics tier list. If I'm trying to do jungle, like looking at Tarzan tier lists or watching some videos from Tarzan. So he's just died 11 times. I mean, there's just not a lot you can do about that. Tried. We got the Central really fed. But I mean, you can kind of see sort of what the problem. I mean, you're saying it's not personal, but this is something that like you've critiqued me for in the past, is like not listening to you, what you think about balance, or what other people think about balance. I mean, like, just the answer is yes. I do consider what other people say. I mean, to me, it's obvious, though, but yes, the answer is yes. I mean, I think that's the end of the discussion, right? Yes, I do look at other people. All right. Let me grab my coffee. I'll be back in a second. I'll put us back in queue. I'm not sure if I'll get here in time, but be back in a second. Well, I do enjoy playing Nautilus. It's just melee champions in general right now are difficult when you have teammates of dubious quality. That's my whole thing with Nautilus. I live in North America, USA. I think baby boomers are, it's supposed to be people born around World War II, right? The baby boom. So probably from like 1945 to like 1950 or something like that. Something like that. Well, let's not get too political. I don't think it's necessarily the land of Trump. Trump is currently the president. He didn't win the Electoral College. He lost the popular vote. There are a lot of people who agree with Trump, and there are a lot of people who disagree with Trump. The country is very, very divided about that. So it's... I know from someone who's not in the United States, a lot of times, it might look like everyone is on board with what the government does, but there's a very lively debate about almost everything in this country. I think it's good to be a little, just like we were talking about earlier with Dot, I think it's good to be a little skeptical of pretty much a little bit of anything, right? Just to kind of find a place to think for yourself a little bit. Oh, he wants Echo? I guess we'll just Diana then.
Ignorant thrall.
I live in Tennessee. Skeptical of skepticism, that's probably good too. Don't be too skeptical. But I think Nautilus is one of the better tanks out there for sure, just because he can kind of escape some situations with his hook. It's rare that he uses the hook to escape, but like it can help you get out of ganks, for example. I tried Nautilus game here. He's open. He's banned a lot of the time. That's not Morg, that's Kaisa. Unless, I mean, they could pick Morg. Well, I stopped banning Nautilus a few days ago. But yeah, I was banning him. That team looks awful, man. What is wrong with people? Why? Like, all of these are like D-list champions. This might be a dodge. Yeah, Morg is banned also. That's a good point. I mean, you can play him into Morg, you just have to play around that shield. I know, it's just a purple person. But yeah, I would not pick him into that. Echo wasn't banned, and he just like randomly moves off of Echo. No. Oh, they picked Echo. That's what happened. Okay, yeah, I think we're dodging this one. We just have too many weak champions. Class or teacher that changed my mindset? Yeah, most teachers. But, I mean, like, some of the more influential ones, yeah, there was a, like, the Introduction to Buddhism class that I had for religious studies was really cool. I never really thought about some of the perspectives that were presented there. I think a lot of my religious studies classes were very cool because I learned a lot about, it's not like a theology class. I think a lot of people get that confused. They hear religious studies, they think it's like theology, right? Where it's the same thing as like going to, you know, a seminary or something. But not that there's anything wrong with that. But it's a whole different kind of thing where you're kind of learning about a culture, history, different cultural interactions, as well as kind of the text itself and sort of the metaphysics and things like that. But yeah, like I had a religion in China class, kind of like a broader survey class, and I had an introduction to Buddhism class. So both of those were pretty cool. trying to think. There's a philosophy of religion class that was cool. There's a Shakespeare class that I had that was really cool, where I hadn't really appreciated or understood Shakespeare very well until I took that class. It was a weird class because it's like a 400 level class that I took as a freshman, so there's a lot of like seniors and juniors in there, but it was a fun class. Holy moly, Mo. I mean, there was nothing that was just like completely earth shattering. Like my worldview like was destroyed because I had read and thought and studied just very casually different aspects of philosophy and things like that before I even went to college, but that certainly enhanced a lot of what I learned there. In grad school, I'll say like just understanding rhetoric and the difference like in sort of trying to say what you want to say and then thinking like strategically about what you're saying and considering your audience a lot more was a huge thing in grad school. And it was very different from how I thought undergrad. I can't remember everything that I ended up taking. There was a I don't know. I would say those would probably be some of the more interesting ones that I had. So my favorite classes were my creative writing classes, like my fiction classes, but those were just kind of fun. I don't think I learned a ton in there. I learned some, of course, but oh, cool, Perry. Well, I'm sorry about the terminal illness, but that is cool that you got to help sort of take care of your mentor in the final days. Will I write a memoir? I don't know. Maybe I'll have to think. Luck, destiny, I mean, I try not to talk too much about like theology in here. I mean, I think that you could try to call those things all similar if you wanted to. But it just depends on your theology. I think that luck and destiny tend to be a little less anthropomorphic than God is often portrayed as. Like, God is often portrayed as having a specific agenda, unless you're like a deist. Like, there are some Christian sort of systems of belief. That's what a lot of like the founding constructors of the Constitution were like deists, where it's basically just like God sort of put the wheels in motion, did a couple of things, but largely is fairly hands off. But that, that was very specific to that time period and hasn't really lasted too long. But Set seems pretty strong. But yeah, I mean, I think it's perfectly possible you could believe something like that. I think anything, if it's helping you like live a more fulfilled life, enjoy your life, enjoy, your relationships with other people, find purpose, and help make your community a better place, I think that's ultimately a good thing. I'll say that. I don't know about that, Wings of Shoe, maybe. Depends. Theros Beyond Death spoilers. I didn't really, I haven't really looked into that too much lately. I need to. I've been busy with other stuff, but yeah, set does seem pretty strong. Hey, what's up, Hamam? You build Ionian boots, Magi's. I don't know what terrible. Okay, Athene's Unholy Grail. Is that Mikhail's Crucible, maybe? So that does seem pretty strong. I don't have hard data on it, but in several American Gods. Is that the, you talking about the novel? Don't they have a show about that now? I had a friend that was really into that book series, but I didn't read it. My friend really liked the books. I don't know how he feels about the show, but I personally don't know a ton about it. He seems like... He doesn't seem like super OP in my games, but he wins and seems like he's kind of a pest. Yeah, I mean, I think on Nami, you really want to get mobility boots most of the time. I mean, I guess you could do Ionians.
Hey, never pick a fight you can't win.
And then it's kind of situational. I think that Athene's Unholy Grail is usually a solid pick. Ardent Censor's a solid pick. I'm not really sure about. I've seen good ones, but well, I mean, Ionia. A big part of the Ionians is it gives you CDR on your summoners, but also just in general, because the ward items don't have CDR on it anymore. So it takes you a lot longer to get to 40% CDR if you don't get them. But it really limits your warding. People forget about that, but like, mobility boots allow you to ward a lot better because you can go in, get your wards in, and get out and be a lot safer while doing it. Obviously rotations as well, but it indirectly affects how much experience you have over the course of the game because you don't have to spend as much time in transit and you're in lanes getting experience more often. So I think that's why pretty much always on almost every support. Dude, why? I don't want a 30-minute dodge, man. Can we just play League of Legends? Like, why is everybody trolling? Wasn't he hovering a real champion? Or is he, maybe he's duoed with mid lane and we're gonna have mid lane Teemo? He plays jungle. Kane's open. He's a jungle main and Kane's open. He's good on Kha'Zix. Like... Dong hot, man. I guess we'll play it. I just don't want a 30-minute dodge, and I don't want to go to the PvE. I'm very, very wary of most people playing, like, squishy range champions in the jungle. I just don't... Like, it rarely works out very well for your average player. It's just like it's not like he's auto-filled or something, or a Teemo main. Like if he was a Teemo main top and he got auto-filled at jungle, I'd be like, okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. He's doing the best he can, but like his two main champions, he has like a 60% win rate on. Were both unbanned, and they're both serviceable into Warwick. Like I don't think that's a bad matchup.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
He did play Teemo a few times. I'm not sure if that's support or not.
Minions have spawned.
Damn it, Caitlyn's watching. Okay. Oh, I'm sure he saw someone else doing it and decided he'd do it. I mean, I have a love-hate relationship with those videos. It does keep League interesting and fresh for people, so I think it's good for the game overall to have weird stuff like that show up, to keep it fresh, kind of fun. But at the same time, I think it's bad for, like, it's bad for people that are looking to rank up. I guess I'll just hang on to my ward, and then I'll try to ward blue whenever we get hopefully get priority. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to get priority against Karma Gator, but I was thinking we might get ganked, which is why I backed up instead of trading with her. Okay, he's top. I'm gonna have to board that push, probably. This guy's just like not throwing any arrows. It's gonna be rough, man. Okay, there we go. Yeah, what do you want, dude? I just had to use my heal on you because you're at 10% HP. He's muted. I literally don't understand what he wants. What is going on with this kid? Like, it's pushing into us. You don't even have to walk up to the wave. Why is he walking up taking free damage?
An ally has been slain.
Am I in that elo? It feels like I've been in that elo for a week now. Like, how has this guy not dropped down into bronze yet? I'm trying not to be too negative. I know yesterday I was kind of negative. It's just these games are just like unbelievable. Like, why am I here? That's always the most depressing thing when I get caught in like one of these ruts. Like, I was trading. I used all of my mana to try to trade with the Karma. He just keeps walking like he doesn't understand that I have cooldowns. And he gets hit by like every Q, everything by both of them. I don't think I was full health playing behind him. Like, I was doing as much as I could to land the harass. Like, they were pushing towards us. He did not have to walk up into that wave. I mean, he's sitting on full mana. Like...
Sure as the tides.
This game's probably over. I hate to be that guy, but it's like, you really have zero room. I should have just taken a 30-minute dodge and played on the PvE. You really have zero room for error when you have Teemo jungle. Like, it's gonna be almost impossible to come back. Teemo's not gonna be able to really ever contest Warwick. Yeah, go, dude. Why are you backing up? What? So he's like critiquing me for not being aggressive. Okay, I mean, there's no point in dwelling on this guy. He's bad. It's like he goes up, we have our jungler's here. Top's getting dope. Teemo's just hanging out. Hey man, can I push your wave with you real quick? I know I have like almost literally all of my jungle camps available right now, but let me hang out and like share some experience with you. I'm dead. He probably walked over a ward, like right here. Probably walked over a pink ward that's in those bushes. And then Lux was just trying to chase him down, and he just happened to draw them all over there while I was getting up wards. I can't really play around mid that well. Oh my god, he seriously is getting Tear of the Goddess. Tear the Goddess in 2020. He doesn't even use his mana in the first place. Alright, well. Guess we'll just do the best we can. Some practice reading the map, see if we can like work like attract the jungler a little better or something. I don't know. Chill for another what should be 5 minutes, but probably end up being 15. Thanks, Brandon. I can't walk up there. I know, it's bad, because Tear is a trash item right now. Like, you can't build Tear in this meta. Like, that's why Ezreal has such a horrible win rate. That's partially why Kai'Sa has such a horrible win rate. Like, it's too slow. There are a few champions, a few mages, who use mana exceptionally well that can get tier and like make it work, sorta. But even those champions aren't like, you aren't seeing a ton of the Rises and the Cassiopeias right now. You're seeing some, but it's just too slow. Like, the game is always so fast, especially early on in the season, because you have these mismatched games, and so people just start snowballing. Like, I would be very interested to look at the stat, like, how deaths have changed at the start of the season from, like, during the preseason. Because I feel like deaths in general are up, like, 30% or more in a game. In the general population. Which means that there's just a lot more snowballing going on. A lot more feeding, a lot more snowballing. And a lot of it's just because people haven't played in a long time. Like, a lot of people just didn't play in the preseason. And they just haven't been, you know, knocked down enough yet to even that out. They did, well, they did something with his Q. This patch, like it. But it's just, it's not a good item in the meta overall. It's not really, like, Varus dependent. It's just, it takes too long to come online. You really have to come online, not just with one item, but with item pieces now. You really have to, like, have some really good power spikes. I mean, dude, what? They're gonna kill you, man. I guess he's just power inting at this point. I don't know. Like, they just did Dragon. Oh my god, you mean their jungler's on the bottom side of the map? What the hell? Who could ever figure that out? Is there any indication that their jungler might be on the bottom side of the map? I wish Riot would just, like, pop up with something, like, in the middle of your screen. Make a loud noise and change the map in some way to indicate that their jungler might be on the bottom side of the map. I'm talking about the dragon dying. With Warwick's picture next to it.
An ally has been slain.
I don't know. I mean, I guess if you can't really laugh at it, I don't mean, there's really no point. Got that tier stacking up though, baby. We're playing for that 25-minute power spike. The problem with our comp is we just don't really have a win condition. Like, all of our, like I said, all of our champs are like D-list champs, except for Nami. I mean, Varus is like, he's okay. Varus is probably like B tier right now. Like, in Pro, maybe he's like A tier, but... Even with the Blade of the Ruined King build, which is way better than going tier, even with the Blade of the Ruined King build, it's still pretty slow. Yeah. Yeah, he was only sitting at 80% mana. I don't think he would have had the mana for that. Games are longer?
Enemy killing spree.
I have a hard time believing that. Maybe. I mean, maybe like League of Graphs will have some statistical information. Freak said a lot of stuff. Now, he's usually on point with like his quantitative, right? Like he's got the data, but like some of his qualitative interpretations of that data is I wasn't sure about that. Like, he was saying stuff like, you no longer have to, like, fear Aphelios after these nerfs. And it's like, well, yeah, he's got a 50% win rate, man, but there's still a lot of champions you need to be afraid of that, you know, don't have over a 50% win rate, right? Like, Akali is continually getting hard nerfed and is really strong despite having a lower win rate. I really almost never had, during all of last year, she almost never had more than a 50% win rate. I mean, I like a lot of his interpretations, but like this one, I think he was just going out of his way to be contrarian, just to like take the opposite opinion a little too much. They just kind of outshine us at every role, basically. Like, Teemo is down 40 CS and 3 kills in 2 levels. Riven's 1 and 5. I mean, that is kind of a tough matchup against Pantheon, but still, like, that's just what it is. Ziggs is, like, okay, I guess, but Lux is just a better version of Ziggs, and then we're down 40 CS, 1 to 4. I know, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I feel like I can. It feels like in my games, once again, just because it seems that way doesn't necessarily mean it is that way. But it seems like games are just much lower quality, end much faster, and there are a lot more deaths in general. Like that compared to the preseason. I can go back and look at some of my individual games and get like a smaller sample size. I don't know if we can look at game length or not by patch. I think maybe you can look at stuff by patch on one of those websites. No! His Q heal. Oh my god. I should have accounted for that a little bit better. If I hit him before he could Q me, I had him, but his Q healed him. You bagged a diff for Jolteon, you feel like you're getting some high quality games? I think the general consensus among most people, there are some people that are having a really good start to the season, that are exploiting the influx of tourists, but I think the consensus is a lot of people are not having a wonderful time at the start of the season, especially if you played during the preseason. They really need to let people decay. Like, that would fix so many problems. Like, if this Varus hasn't played in 3 years and he's building that build, you know, from like 2015 or something, then just let him start off in like silver. I mean, it's fine. Better quality games for everybody, including him. Like, he's just gonna keep getting frustrated because he doesn't understand like what he's doing wrong. He's just gonna keep blaming his supports for his poor play. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played an absolutely perfect game either, but I just feel like they should start people like that are inactive that have not played in a while. They should just start them a lot lower. They're probably not going to do that because that's going to feel really punitive. It's going to feel like they're punishing people, but in reality, like, that's where they're gonna go anyways. They're just gonna drag a whole bunch of people down with them, you know, on their way. Which, I mean, you do have to be able to carry, like, underperforming people. Like, that's just part of solo queue, but it just feels much, much more pronounced earlier on in the season than at other points. And it's because you have a lot of people that just don't consistently play the game. I think there should just be decay. Like, doesn't have to be a huge amount, but if someone hasn't played within, like, certainly a month, there should be some sort of decay. Now, not below gold. I think people should be able to keep their gold rewards. So, if you get to gold at some point in the season, you should be able to retire if you want to and still get your skin and stuff like that. But I think there should be decay, certainly in platinum. But I think even in gold, there should be decay. But right now, there's not decay until you get to diamond. And even then, it's almost nothing. It's like you have to play one game a month or something like that. Why are we still in this game? Do we have a surrender mode? This is a total waste of time. Like, I'm not usually like that. I usually like to play out games, but, like, we literally have no win condition. Like, there's no universe where we win this game. We don't have any carry champions. I mean, I guess, like, if there's a thunderstorm and 3 of them DC, I think, honestly, they could probably 4v5 us at this point. It's like Tear of the Goddess, Ghost Blade versus Infinity Edge 100% crit Kate. I mean, the sad thing is their team comp's, like, not that great either. Ours is just that much worse. They have, like, a bunch of, you know, maybe B-listers on their team, and we have D-listers on our team. This Riven is not a carry, man. She's 2 and 7. Like, in theory, yes, Riven can carry games, but she really needs to be ahead fairly early to, like, get enough momentum. I mean, it's possible she could come back by, but, like, I mean, if they're not gonna surrender, I'll keep trying, but Riven does have really good ratios on her abilities, but you have to actually play her correctly. Riven is extremely skill intensive. Like, you are very, very worthless if you do not play Riven, like, extremely well. Like, there's no average Riven player. She's one of the most, like, extreme skill champs in the game. Like, the difference between a really good Riven and a really bad Riven. Because not only does she have, like, tricky decisions, she's squishy, you know, all that stuff, but, like, her actual animation cancels and things like that are a huge part of her DPS. If you can't do her fast combo correctly with animation cancels, you end up losing, like, half your DPS. And you have to kill people fast enough, or they're gonna kill you. Like, she's really, really reliant on really, really reliant on killing them, like, in one rotation. Like, she doesn't want really sustained fights. A-Train's greater than Box. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a Riven expert. They don't make champions like that anymore, really, that are, like, that skill express, like, with the animation cancels. Like, that's a really old school, like, thing. It's very counterintuitive and difficult to, like, understand. Like a lot of people don't even understand like what animation cancels are. So they've taken that out of a lot of champs. Like Renekton used to be able to animation cancel his W with Tiamat, but then they took that out. I can't think of any other champions that have like that extreme amount of animation cancels as Riven. Because it's not that like auto attack cancels are bad. You lose DPS on auto attack cancels, but animation cancels are really good. It wasn't animation cancels, it was similar with what they did with Silas. They took away his auto attack reset, I think. No, see, she's doing it way too slow. If you watch how her combo's going off, he's gonna like flash jump this wall. If you look at how slowly she's doing that combo there. But yeah, they did take off a lot of his auto attack cancels, and that is a big part of skill expression. They're doing that with a lot of champions to make them more viable in solo queue, is they are lowering the skill cap on them by taking away certain auto attack resets, animation cancels, things like that. I think Nidalee might have several auto attack resets and cancels. I'm not sure. But Riven's one of the few champions that really has that around. It's such like a small community of people that play her, and that's something that people really like about her. Does so little damage. Auto can, yeah, Fiora might have some. I mean, I don't play champions that have those mechanics a lot, so I'm not like, you know, an expert on that stuff. I just know Riven's notorious for it, and that's why most Riven players are not that successful with her. Yeah, so this did end up being like a waste of an additional 15 minutes. I mean, we never had a prayer in this game. I should have just dodged. I was being too greedy, like not wanting a 30-minute dodge. But unless like the rest of your team is like ironclad, like badasses, you can't have a Teemo jump. Like everyone has to be on their best champions, and they all have to be S-tier champions in order for you to like play out a Teemo jungle game. Kind of sitting there watching him. Yeah, I hope so, Monica. We'll see. The jungler was Demo. Her ADC did like double the damage. I mean, there's like the poke champions almost always find ways to do damage. I don't know. I mean, that was my fault. I knew I was going to be terrible going in. I should have just... If you feel like you need to make that face, whatever face people said that I made going into the game, you need to press the old X button there. A lot of people who weren't in game considered animation cancels to be cheating. I don't know. Like, I don't know if WoW had that many animation cancels. At least not with the healers. I think it depends on how they're done. I think if they're like part of the, you know, part of the game, it could be pretty fun. I kind of miss playing MMOs somewhat. Like they're fun. They're just not really like. It's hard to generate like good viewership and high quality for them. Obviously, there are people. There's Asmongold and you know people like that get a following, but there just aren't that many. So it'd be tough. I was really considering playing like FF14. FF14 looked like the healing could be pretty fun in it, but they are very time intensive. It's becoming an increasingly niche community. Paying monthly also is kind of a non-starter for a lot of people, especially the younger audience, like teenagers and stuff, who are kind of strapped for money anyways. Like, there's so many free options out there right now. Like, Echo was banned anyway, so it didn't matter. It does look fun, but I can't. This year I really have to finish my dissertation, like, for real. The timeline's running out, and I need to get this done. It would mean a lot for me professionally. Damn it, they picked Rakan too? Nautilus is banned, they picked Rakan. I'm probably not going to be tenured, but if I could just get like a full-time, what they call a full-time lectureship, that would be ideal. So it's basically like, you're pretty much permanent at the university. It's not a like semester by semester contract. If you just do your job well. I can't pick Soraka into all that. They have too many assassins. Damn it, their team comp's just really good again.
The dawn has arrived.
I could put on that skin that we had, that we got the other day out of a box. I really don't like the stopwatch build. I've tried it, even though she doesn't have great AP ratios. Well, yeah, I don't play Leona a lot, but they picked Rakan. Nautilus was banned. They have 2 assassins. So I can't really play... There's not a lot I could play into that. What? I'm not disconnected from the internet. I don't like Morg that much. No League. Your client is messed up. My internet is not messed up. Hey, what's up, James? I mean, that's kind of up to you. Like, everyone's kind of got to make that decision on their own, but I do think that... I think that taking a little break between undergrad and grad is probably a good idea, just to kind of refresh your motivation. She does have some AP ratios. I think I'm still just going to get shield instead of shoulder guards.
My shield will. "30 seconds until minions spawn." Wrap thyself in the
They had talked about making Morg's W a grounding effect. If they did that, I would potentially be a lot more on board with considering her, because then her W would actually be, like, pretty decent. She'd have 2 different forms of stopping mobility.
It is but a small thing to fight for good.
If they gave it, like, a little bit of a slow, not a huge slow, but a little bit, and had it stop mobility. Kind of like Singed Goo. Or like Cassiopeia's W, I think that that would help a lot. Even like, I would say, I would even be on board with them lowering the CD amount on her Q, lowering it to like 2.25 seconds, like most other long CCs, if they gave her W that. Her W's bad. Like, all it does is a little bit of, like, dot damage. And that's it. Like, it used to actually shred armor and magic resist. And that was, like, alright back in the day, but...
Our foes withered in the halo of blackened flame.
Fortune hurts so badly. Why does that do 200 damage level 1? There's a champion with this much armor.
To face these veiled terrors, we must know them.
Yeah, but Rylai's is too expensive on, like, most supports.
The last light approaches.
We gotta watch Kha'Zix.
First.
Oh, he's top. Never mind. We can hold on to it for another minute or so.
I am but one lost in an endless abyss.
I just can't engage if they like freeze outside the tower like this, or they're not. It's not really frozen. It's gonna push, but.
Chosen of the eclipse. That is my time. An enemy has been slain.
It's still gonna catch like right here. Like, Leona just requires such precise wave management to really, like, leverage her strengths. Like, right here, I still can't engage. It's gonna be really hard. Maybe I can get a hit on him, but... We had a good trade until I took all those hits.
Fear not the sunless sky.
Nautilus Q nerfs, yeah. Apparently a lot of people were maxing Q on Nautilus. I haven't tried that. I'll have to try that, I guess. They did buff the Q several times last year. I don't know. It feels wrong not to max E. It was the standard for so many years, but... they're too close. Like, we keep fighting, like, right here, and this is just where the wave is. Like, can't do anything. Once I get mobility boots, I might be able to roam, but Rakan can engage on Aphelios. Aphelios doesn't have any escape, so... We're not even really gaining a CS advantage by putting them in a tower like this. I can't hit the tower. Just kind of walking through, like, why I don't typically pick Leona, because I'm basically not here. Like, I might as well be AFK. Because I can't really apply any pressure because they're so close to their tower. And I have no escapes, so we just die if we get ganked. And it's like, with Rakan, at least I'd be safer where I could run away, and at least I scale better, you know? Rakan wasn't an option here, but... So it's like, Leona can be really good, but like, you have to have really good wave manipulation, like, your ADC has to like, freeze it, like, right here, and then you zone them off. And that just doesn't happen. Most people just push, and pushing is, I know, but I can't go roam. I didn't have any boots, and I'm like level 4. And their mid lane's a Kali, who's pretty difficult to gank. I mean, you can't, like, roam that early. I don't think. I mean, in certain situations, maybe. Like, if that Akali was, like, pushed up, you know, pressuring the Malzahar in lane, but she's not going to do that early. She's going to be, like, either pushed in or in a neutral position in the lane. Or are they not buffing you, me? I don't know. I guess they're focused on other things. It's a lot harder to ward with her, too. You can't go deep into their jungle because you have no way of escaping if Kha'Zix shows up.
Light will not avail thee. My shield will.
Every game like this. I'm trying to stay as positive as I can. It's the start of this season. I mean, the start of every season is basically just a nightmare. What else can they do? They need to, like, for Nautilus, they need to lower his CC. They need to make, like, his ult, maybe take half a second off of his ult CC, or they need to take, like, a quarter of a second off of his passive CC. I don't think Tarek's that great right now. He's good if you're, like, a funnel comp with Master Yi on your team, and, like, your elo bracket is gold and lower. Like, I guess he can be, like, okay into, like, maybe Nautilus and Leona. I just don't like peeler tanks that much right now in the meta, but, like, I don't like your Brahms, your Toms, I just think that if you're going to be playing a tank, you need to be playing something that, like, is more consistent with making proactive plays. I mean, we're not going to be able to deal with this, man. Like, they're just going to replace it. They added a quarter of a second to his root duration. That was the huge thing that really, like, caught everyone's attention and brought him into the meta in, like, around July or so. Now we're behind, so we've got to play extremely far back because Kha'Zix is potentially down here, so... It's like I'm just a spectator in this game, but I don't scale. Like, I might as well have just played Janna, probably.
To face these veiled terrors, We must know them.
Now they are changing up some stuff that might help Taric next patch, so they are nerfing ADCs a little bit more, and they are buffing Frozen Heart a pretty significant amount, so that will help Taric out a little bit.
Gaze into the burning light. Do not look away.
If Righteous Glory was just a little bit better, like that would help out so much with Taric, but he's not really like amazing with Shirelia's or Righteous Glory. He's like okay maybe with Shirelia's, but he has a hard time just getting on people.
I am but one life in an killing spree.
I honestly don't know how we lost that. We really needed to win that 3v3 at the Tri-Bush a little bit ago to have a chance.
Chosen of the eclipse. That is my time.
They do need to make it cheaper. Like, instead of giving it 10 armor, like, remove 200 gold off the cost. Nah, I mean, it's 200 gold in efficiency. Like, free 200 gold in your pocket. It's pretty significant. It's actually, I was looking at it, it's not that bad right now, honestly. It's like 125% efficient. I might actually try it out against heavy AD teams on like Rakan or something. But like once it gets that buff, it's gonna be like about 160% value, which is gonna be huge. We're about to get dove. Kha'Zix is mid. Please, Aphelios, man, anything, dude. Wait, he just cast that? He's level 7, he had it, right?
It will not end. This cleansing must be completed. Two ancient orders, one above, one below.
I mean, like, well, I mean, what do I even say? Like, maybe he didn't. I haven't seen him use his ult earlier on in this game, right? Like, it wasn't on cooldown, or was it? Was it on cooldown?
What dark dreams may come.
Oh, they're here again. Yeah, we can't go up there, dude, because their fucking junglers on the dragon. Like, how do people not understand this?
Lighten thy eyes. The sky is open.
Why would you even ping that? Like, literally, the dragon just died. Kha'Zix is right here with 4 kills. I know you're getting zoned off of experience. You should have used your ult under tower. Like, that's the price you pay. Alright, you're muted, bud. We have no clue where Kha'Zix is.
'Tis unnatural. 'Tis the new twilight.
Like, I know you want to farm, man. It's not free. You don't just get to farm. Oh, look, oh my god, look at that. The Kha'Zix is there. How the hell did that happen? Like, it's like unbelievable. Like, how am I in the same elo bracket as these people? Like, who could have possibly predicted Kha'Zix might be on the bottom side of the map? I'm not even really like that smart. Like, you don't have to be that smart to figure that out, right? It shows up with a large dragon with Kha'Zix's face next to it. Like, that tells you where he is. There's not a dragon on the top side of the map. Spoiler alert. Like, he's not just gonna recall and go to the top side of the map immediately. Most likely. He's not just gonna say, huh, our bot lane is crushing them. They have 2 champions with no escapes, Leona and Aphelios on the enemy team. The wave's in a favorable position for us. They're getting zoned out of experience. They're gonna have to step up. Nah, I'm not gonna go down there and make a play on that. It's like, what? Like, a freaking silver jungler can figure that out. No offense to silver junglers, but like, this should be a platinum game, or at least gold. I don't know, man. Spoiled league. No Drake top. That's right. Yeah, just get out of here.
Our foes beneath a halo of blackened flame.
You're gonna be like, this damn Leona's AFK. It's like, yeah, you have to be. At that point, we're down like 5 kills, and if their jungler's on the bottom side of the map, you have to be AFK. Just think about it, like, either you have to sit at your tower until you know where Kha'Zix is, and then you don't die. Yeah, you don't get CS, but you also don't die. But guess what? If you die, you're also not getting CS, and you're giving them kills, and you're giving them tower, and map pressure. And if the support's smart, a bunch of vision in your jungle. Like, you have to take what's least bad in that situation. Trust me, I want to be aggressive, but it's like, bro, you were pushing into their tower the entire game, so I can't engage as Leona. You weren't helping me with vision at all, and you're trying to push up when we know the jungler is on the bottom side of the map with the dragon. Like, but yeah, this is why I don't play Leona a lot. So I guess at least we got one game in there. You got to see the new skin. I don't even think I was playing that game, really. I think I was basically AFK for 15 minutes. No, it's not your fault, Brandon. I would have picked it regardless of whether or not you suggested it, to be fair. I mean, I'd like to pretend I'm trying to do a little fan service here, but realistically, I was going to pick Leona either way. Just because of what I said. Like, Nautilus was banned. Rakan was banned, or Rakan was picked, and we needed tanks. I should have just dodged it, though, because our team comp's just way worse than theirs, again. I mean, maybe I could have communicated a little bit better. Like, I think I pinged back. Maybe I didn't. But, yeah, I mean, you're right. Maybe I could have communicated that. Something tells me that dude is not going to listen. He can't even understand what's going on, I think. I mean, I don't want to be like rude or mean or whatever, but he just doesn't belong in that game. Or I don't belong in that game. So, something's not right. I just got to start dodging more games, I think. Yeah, I do think somebody's Arturo was talking about jungle. I do think that playing jungle a little bit is like good. I mean, matchmaking is matching people based on their 4-digit MMR. That is correct, unless there's a duo. So it's not necessarily just the matchmaking's fault. The fault is there's no decay if people don't play for long periods of time. Like, has this dude actually played? Oh, I meant to look up that data on deaths and game links too. Maybe we can look that up after our next dodge here in this queue. Jesus Christ, he has like a pretty good win rate on everything too. I mean, I guess he's auto-filled ADC, so maybe that explains some of it, but... Can I see preseason? How many games he played in the preseason? I can't see that, I don't think. Okay. So he had not played in 15 games until like yesterday, basically, or 15 days. So I guess he did at least play some in the preseason. Yeah, he was playing some in the preseason. He had like a 2-week break though. But he has still played some, so I don't know. He's played like 20 games over the last 2 days. I don't know. I don't know what the excuse is.
You used to be cool.
My win rate's so bad. So bad. Okay. What was I was looking at game times. No, I think I think Analytics, you can look at different patches. Tarek Draven, huh? I guess we'll just do Rakan because I really want to play something like Soraka and a Tarek, but at the same time, I don't know if they're going to pick Assassins or not. You can't pick Nautilus or Leona into Tarek, I don't think. It could just be Tarek, Draven. It could be a funnel comp. Okay, so patch 10.1. Doesn't say game times though. It can show deaths though. So let's see, like, on Janna and Nami, 5.2, 5.2, 6 on Nautilus. It might be funnel with Twitch. It's Twitch jungle, maybe. I don't know if it's gonna be Lulu middle or top. Okay, we'll wait a second. Well, what is that? 5.1, 5.2, 5.26. I guess it's about the same. At least on that small sample size of supports there. But I mean, something about it is more uneven. Because, like, the win rates on these champs, like, look at how many supports on 9.24 are over 50%, right? You've got your Sona, your Janna. I didn't know Sona was that high. Where? I guess that's all patches with that. I don't remember Sona being that high. I thought that was Soraka, not... Oh, it is Soraka. They messed up the pictures. So that is Soraka with a picture of Sona. And this is Swain with a picture of Soraka. Okay, anyways. But yeah, 54, 54, you know, 53, and then, like, these are, like, 52, you know, 52. That's Talia, not Tom Kench. That's Zyra, not Zoe. So there's some weird stuff going on with the pictures there. But a lot of champs are over 50%, right? Versus, like, now, as support, you know, there are not nearly as many over 50%. You start to get below 50, like, right here. So it feels like everything has dropped, like, 1% or 2. Some people play Talia support. Let me see. See if League of Graphs has any good info here about... game durations. Can we choose patches? So it's not letting us choose patches. Is there something that's like historic data? I don't see anything that's allowing us to choose patches. Yeah, the average game length right now is 27 minutes. What's going on in Master Flex? Long games, I guess. It's probably like the two teams that are playing. Masters Flex are just, I don't know. Oh, okay, here's the patch. Can I change the patch? I know there was a way you could look at historic data, but...
Hey, never pick a fight you can't win.
Infographics are those specific, these things. Wait, is this... Oh, this does have match duration. Okay. So what? I guess it doesn't tell us the mean, but we can see the median. So the median game length is 30 minutes on 10.1. It's between 25 and 30 minutes is most of it. And then 924. Yeah, the game length was higher, right? Freak's wrong. Game links are faster. Because here, there's a pretty good distribution at 35 minutes. Right? So this looks like it's between 30 and 35 minutes as the average game length. With like 20% around 25 minutes. But this is a much, much larger chunk at 35 plus minutes. At least that's what it appears. There could be some like weird way that this is getting distributed, but it looks like 30 to 35 minutes is the most popular chunk there, with a large portion consisting of that. I'm not saying exactly what's causing it, but someone said earlier that Freak had claimed that game times were faster. That's exactly what I'm arguing, Divine. That's like literally what I'm arguing, is that games are faster and that is affecting the meta. Oh, particularly making the bot lane weaker because bot lane requires the most time to come online most of the time, yeah. I was talking about it earlier, so it makes sense that you missed it. But yeah, I'm agreeing with you. It's 100% like, not 100%, but that's the correlation I'm trying to draw. Is that I was saying earlier that I feel like these, that it's pulling a lot of the supports towards the 50% mean, which is what I was just showing, like how a lot of the top end supports lost like, 1 or 2%. It's pulling them towards the mean, which means that it's making it more random overall because supports have less agency in the bot lane. I think ADCs too, because other lanes are just stomping. Like that last game was completely out of my hands. Like I literally don't think there was anything I could do to win that game. And just a lot of it is because there are so many tourists, which is my theory. There's so many people that haven't played in a while. They're coming back and playing. They're not very well practiced. They're getting smashed by a lot of people that played during the preseason or Smurfs or whatever. So there's just a lot more deaths a lot faster in the game, I think. Now, the deaths thing didn't seem like that was like showing up as much as I thought maybe it would. But it does seem like games are getting snowballed a lot harder, so there are certain champions that are just like taken over that really thrive in chaotic environments where there's a lot of gold floating around. And we've seen that a ton over the last week, where there's like one champion on the enemy team or on our allied team a lot of times that will have like 15 kills. We saw this last night, like in 3 or 4 games where the game would be about even. We might be down 2 kills. It'd be like, they'd have 14 kills, we'd have 12. Well, didn't ward our blue, so Ivern's probably got it. Udyr better invade this. Because Ivern's like 99% just took his blue. Hopefully Udyr like gets that. Yeah, bot lanes do want tanks to come back because tanks slow down the game. But they're nerfing bot lane next patch because, why not? I think they put Hishinishin in charge of their balance team. Maybe Ivern does he have blue? He doesn't have blue. Okay, so he just started red. He didn't try to invade. Udyr should have still invaded him. Yeah, he just went for his red first. Which is really bizarre. He could have 3-buffed him easily. I would have 3-buffed. I was jungler. I love invading and taking stuff when I'm Ivern. So they're nerfing bottom by... I recorded a video earlier today. I'll probably release it tomorrow afternoon. But the proposed changes are they're nerfing Stormrazor by 5 AD. And they're making crit cloak only give 20% crit instead of 25. I don't think so. I mean, maybe. It is better specifically for those champions, but it's worse for supports overall. Can't really engage on Sivir. I mean, maybe. Dude, you can't dash into melee combat with Pyke, man. You gotta save your E so you can dodge the hook with your E. I'm not really sure. I might check out FF14. Yeah, eating the hook is still kind of bad, though.
I will make them dance.
Because he can interrupt your dashes. No, jungle is almost always like dominant in the early game and falls off late. Most junglers. There are some exceptions to that, like Master Yi, Echo, and things like that. But a lot of like the really powerhouse jungles historically are sort of early to mid game junglers, like Kha'Zix, Lee Sin.
I don't need to understand.
Trying to think of some other ones.
I trust my love.
Especially at higher elo brackets. It's usually all about the early game. Olaf, yeah. So junglers typically will like faster metas.
I'm gonna burn this place down. Then help them
Assassins, you know, mid laners, pretty much everybody except for bot lane, depending on the champions that you play, are gonna have options for really, but like there's not really great options bot lane for like fast meta stuff unless you play a mage bot lane, which people might actually start playing mages again like next patch. I'm not guaranteeing it, but like it possibly could see a little bit more of that type of thing. It's what they had to do in the summer of 2018. Right? It just like refuses to make tanks like strong in other lanes other than support, basically. People don't like playing them and they don't like playing against them and they don't like watching them. Like, why is he trying to freeze? I mean, I get it, like, they're ahead, Pyke is strong, but... Oh god, he got cold too. But, like, you're giving Pyke free roam if you try to freeze. We can't do that. Yeah, at this point, I'd rather probably have a mage than most of these, like, ADCs that we get.
I'm just here for the party.
I don't know, maybe I'm too hard on the ADCs, man, but like...
How can they not be?
Maybe other roles make very similar mistakes, I just don't notice it as much. Dude, I'm right here. Like, Pyke's not here. What?
Looks right. Time to show it.
Crap. There's Ari. It's like, huh, let's wait another like 20 seconds and then we'll fight him. We'll give Pyke time to get here. I don't know. I feel like it's like I'm in this elo right now, right? Like I'm here. So to me, it seems reasonable that they should be able to understand some of these very basic things that I understand. It's not even that advanced. Like, because if I was so much smarter than them, I would be in a much higher elo. Like that would make sense at some point. So I don't know. So I really think that, like, I don't know. I mean, I guess my expectations maybe are too high, but I don't think they should be. I don't have Ignite.
They will see me.
Why is the Shinshin crying about Set? He's a top laner. Like, play him. You have another potential OP top lane release. Like, just play the champion.
I totally forgot why I'm here. I will walk in. I will dance.
Hey, what's up, Alex? Well, it's going about the usual. Well, yeah, I mean, if you only like playing 2 champions or whatever, then yeah, I guess that's whatever. But like top lane as a whole is actually in one of the strongest states it's been in a long time. So it can capitalize on a lot of people up there playing that haven't played in a while.
The only way
It can really abuse a lot of these one-on-ones.
dance and dance.
And the fact that junglers basically have to sit bottom lane the entire time, you know, means you can force 1v1. So it's just like the ultimate, you know, skill expression lane right now. Seriously? Oh my god. I'm mad at myself for getting hit by that. I was too busy over here looking. I didn't think... She threw it from here to like here.
Shut down.
I might try out going Frozen Heart, honestly, this game.
I'm here. I am so gone. Sometimes I need to
That was a nice Simmer Q. I could have sidestepped it, but I was too busy looking at what was going on with them, trying to decide if I should try to go in for a shield or not. Nami's okay. I mean, Nami has a high win rate. I've played her some. She's alright. She just still has a problem, like, I think of... She just can't roam or control vision as well as, like, Rakan can. So if your ADC's bad, you're not in a great spot. But...
Shut down. Has been slain.
I miss Saya.
Does he have Moby Boots? He also has Moby Boots? That's interesting.
An enemy has been slain.
This is a really weird positioning.
I can't die looking this good.
I mean, that's one of the really strong things about Rakan. It's like, oh, it's a jungler. Okay, it doesn't matter. He's not going to catch me. So like, you just kind of go anywhere you want, do almost anything you want. Like, a lot of the time is Rakan. Well, we did actually get a lot of damage on that tower. That must have been Udyr that got that, because I don't remember.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Jit playing Aatrox in the mid lane. Oh god.
Name one genius
Nice.
that can play.
I need to go by.
Has destroyed the turret.
Shit. Kali didn't come over here. Rakan's just really damn good right now. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to play some other stuff for people, but I'm gonna try this out.
Nothing. Bring it all.
I mean, Kai'Sa is getting pretty strong, so like maybe I should have gone Zeke's, but they don't have a ton of auto attackers over there. Damn it.
Ain't
I'm
nothing
gonna try it out.
Take
The
it
20% CDR is
Why
nice,
it's
though.
the truth. I am not blind.
Hey, thanks, Marcus. I appreciate it.
Kill the mortals. I want them to hear.
Your team has destroyed the turret.
I got freedom. I got a lady. I got a cause I die for. That's who I am.
Damn, I probably should have been there for that experience. That is one thing I definitely need to work on, is like trying to optimize my experience a bit more, because sometimes I feel like maybe I lose too much experience trying to get the vision control. Oh my god.
Watch it.
Rampage.
Want some? Get
I thought we were gonna be able to win that, but he just like blew her up.
all filthy and dangerous.
Hey, thanks Divine, I appreciate it. I mean, maybe I could go Zeke's along with. I still like getting,
Fun. I need some
the
fun.
Shirelias.
Now.
Just did. I appreciate it. That helps out a lot. Oh my god. Well, that was my bad. As soon as he blew Ghost, I should have just taken that and just run.
Your team has destroyed.
I should have just taken the Ghost and run. No, you're right. The I do get a bigger cut. PayPal takes 10% and YouTube takes about 30% of donations, including memberships. So
They want us in cages.
if it doesn't matter either way to you, if you just want to donate some money, then it, you know, PayPal is the more efficient way to make sure more of it goes into my pocket instead of the platform. But I mean, I'll take either way.
I'm getting impatient.
With the membership thing, you do get the green text, which is, you know, kind of cool to let people know it's your members, and so that's useful. And eventually, maybe someday, I will get some emotes custom made for that, but...
Let's see what's happening now.
They just want to waste time, like, chasing me. I guess that's fine. I really need to be at these fights, I guess, though. Like, I was thinking if the jungler faces me, like, that's a pretty good trade, jungler versus support, but actually kind of not, I guess.
If you weren't a little frightened.
Mostly the Ahri that's blowing me up. At this point, how fed is she? Not that fed, but... I mean, we just looked at that data. I'm not sure where you're getting those numbers. I can't even interpret that. I mean, we just looked at the data like a little bit earlier, so at least the median game time was longer on 924 by a pretty significant margin than it is right now. I don't know, maybe there's less like ultra, like quick games. I don't know how that's working, but where are you getting that data? Oh, they did get that word. We need everybody here, though. What happened to the Kaisa? I honestly don't know. I just went on, I was just thinking, just get on the Renekton and CC as many people as I can that are around him. I think Darius may have ghosted and flanked her on the back. Really more concerned with winning around the Akali. Are they all?
It's a revolution.
Do feel a lot tankier against AD with Frozen Heart for sure. The extra mana is actually kind of coming in handy too in these really long exchanges. Just let it go, man. Damn it, that might be bad.
Shut down. Enemy has been slain. Shut down.
Yeah, that is pretty nice to get to 40% off of these items here on the CDR. Like, I kind of like the build, especially, you know, if they do end up, that buff does end up going through. Yeah, the Udyr just turning around trying to do something there really cost us a lot. They just got like 2 or 3 shutdowns.
It's okay. I'm staying alive.
Yeah, I mean, the Sivir is really strong right now. Yeah. Trying out Frozen Heart instead of Zeke's because ADCs just aren't really doing it a lot for me lately, and I just feel like
Magic is like fire.
with Rakan, you can't stay in there with Zeke's and get a lot of the damage off of it. So, like, it's possible just having the slow, the extra survivability, and the CDR, and just all that other stuff is just better. Why is the bikes getting so loud? I don't know. That's a good point. Yeah, let's make sure we get this secured. Right, dude. ADCs, man. Dude, like... Smite fight, please. Nice. Give me that kill. Give me that kill. He took my penta.
Has destroyed a turret. The enemy's inhibitor is respawning soon. The enemy's inhibitor is respawning.
Don't take a lot of words.
It's, I mean, I'm looking at what the median game time is. If you can find the mean game time, that would be good. So I'm not looking at how many games end in 0 to 25. I'm looking at what is the average time of games, and is it lower or is it higher? And at least according to League of Graphs, games are faster. That's a little bit different from how many games are 0 to 25. It could be. Because there could be fewer 0 to 25 games, but there could also be like a lot fewer, 45 to 60 minute games. So if there are like 5% less 0 to 25 games, but there's 10% less like 45 to 60 minute games, that's going to skew the data towards faster games. You see what I'm saying? I should have honored somebody there. So if we look at this right here, now I was just kind of eyeballing this. I didn't add it all up, but if we look here, like the distribution of 20, 25, and 30-minute games is going to be, somewhere around like, what, 53%? Or basically 30 minutes or lower. Versus this one, it looks like closer to 52%. I mean, it's not a huge difference. It says 35-minute mark, there being more of those. There's like 23% at the 35-minute mark. They're very similar, though. What's this? 20. I wish I could pull both. I guess I could download these and like look at them side by side. Add this up. Wish it would tell you average game time, but this is 924. 8.53 plus 20.45 plus 24.45. 53.43 games. That are, what, 30 minutes or less? I don't have a pen on me. 53.43. And this is 53.62 on 10-1. Well, it was 4-3, so it's only a 0.2 difference. But, you know, technically games are closing slightly faster. But it's not really like anything that's that significant, probably. But it's definitely not games are slower. I mean, this is looking at the median instead of the mean, because it's not giving us the mean, but... First Blood might be another interesting stat to look at. So 59.38% games are won by First Blood here. .14. So First Blood slightly indicates a bigger snowball. Not much, by like 0.2. But that also indicates that games are like being decided a little bit faster. I'm not sure. I think we're like 1-3 or something. I think we're 1-3. It's probably like 19 LP, something like that. I mean, I don't know what Freak is saying or where he's getting his data. I mean, obviously he works for Riot, so he might have more accurate data. He probably does, obviously, potentially have more accurate data, but I think the median game length is, like I said, it's very similar. I mean, he was wrong about some others. I pointed out something else. It wasn't necessarily just that. I think there was something else that I pointed out that he was somewhat mistaken about. At least by the information that I had, which could be different from his information. But his conclusions, I was definitely kind of like scratching my head with a lot of his conclusions he was drawing from it. Inferences, like Aphelios is not really good anymore, and things like that. It's fine. You know, I love Freak. I like watching his stuff. It's good. It's healthy to have differences of interpretations and things. Keeps the game interesting. We did get one. Yeah, we played Rakan and it was a blowout. We did get to play several different champions, so that's good for variety on the stream. But realistically, it's all very close, the stats. Games do feel a lot more lopsided, from my perspective, but you know, when you start talking about like memory and experience, it's very rarely actually like really accurate with what happened, right? Because we're just gonna remember the really bad games a lot more than we remember the good games. Like that last game's pretty forgettable. I mean, we had some good fights in it, but you know, in a week or so, I may not remember that game as much, even though because we blew them out. But hey, what's up, Riley? Yeah, it does seem a little counterintuitive and a little shocking, because games in my mind seem like they are snowballed a lot more. Oh, it's Xerath support. Rakan's fine into Xerath. There's not much that you're going to be able to play that's going to be able to 2v2 lane against Xerath if the jungler doesn't get involved. Rakan at least has a repeatable shield and a heal, and he can dodge stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like you're going to lose lane most of the time against Xerath unless the jungler comes down. If the jungler comes down, he's easy to kill. That's the nice thing about Rakan is, like, you do have really, like, long-range engage. If you really think about Rakan's engage range on a gank, like, if Lee Sin comes up next to them, I can close the gap onto Lee Sin within, like, 700 range with my E, and then I get an additional jump off of that for an extra 600 range with my W. So it's like I have 1300 engage range with Rakan. So he is like, can really get on people, especially in ganks. And he also has some of the best like sustain in lane because of that shield that he just gets back every now and then. It's like free HP. Darius taking Darius things. We're all learners in this journey of life.
Ha! I'm G to the D. Golden diamonds, boy.
Let's go like over the top guru style. Oh, I need to email. I guess it is like 2 in the morning at this point. I was about to say I need to email some students. I'll just let them know I'm going to be up really late.
They will see me. They will see my dance. I'm gonna show people some of the strength.
I don't know about that, Akali.
I'm gonna live forever.
Hey, thanks, Noah. I appreciate it. Yeah, we try to have a relatively good time on the channel. I try to explain as much as I can, help people appreciate and understand the game a bit more. Share some old man stories.
I can't wait to see what I can do.
It really sucks having to give up lane to Vayne too. I guess I screwed that up. That's definitely it feels bad. But Xerath's just gonna spam his abilities.
Man, have you seen that forest over there?
Kind of a conundrum because you want to be able to engage on someone like Xerath, but at the same time, like, you want to be able to heal. So there aren't many champions that can do that. Ideally, I try to make him use his mana on me and not the misfortune. And then hopefully I can kind of sustain through it. Pretty much out of mana now, so it's not that bad. We kind of survived it. Yeah, we don't know where Kane is. he? He's here, right? There's no way he comes up this far if Kane's not here. Look, this ADC is actually pretty smart, though. He's probably right there. This ADC actually recognizes there is a jungler on the map. She's dodging quite a few of the things. It's hard to dodge everything that Xerath throws at you. Wow. Like, there's no way that Xerath runs up like that if the jungler's not somewhere nearby. He basically ran up into melee combat with me. I was worried he was going to be behind us, but... it's like either he lagged out or the jungler's here. Okay, he's up top now. It's hard to W the Vayne. She's just gonna tumble away. Hey, thanks, Noah. Yeah, a lot of the college students that figure that out, I mean, it is kind of fun, I think. I don't advertise it to my students. I try not to separate those spheres as much as I can. Not there's anything wrong with that, it's just, I don't know. The college probably appreciate that. Oh, Misfortune doesn't have any mana. Oof. Yeah, if she had mana, that would have been nice, but... maybe Lee would come down here? I don't quite have enough. I need to cash in at least 2 of these stacks, probably. I need to back. I need to get my timing. Maybe I'm greeding out for these stacks, but... this will give me Moby Boots and a couple of control wards.
What humans call magic, we call life.
Yeah, it is a yeah. It is an interesting quality. I mean, there aren't that many professors that play something at like a decently competitive level. You know, like not. I'm sure there are some that play like just kind of for fun stuff. You know, play some Civilization or maybe some Total War. Some professors, but to try to be like, you know, diamond ranked in a really popular competitive game is probably a little unusual. Not diamond ranked right now. We were, we got up to D3 in the preseason, but we haven't quite found our footing at the start of the season so far. It's been sort of clowny. I can't, man. Like, they're playing really far back. I didn't have a ult. That stun almost ruined my day. He's not 6 yet. He's gonna probably pop 6 off that wave though. Honey fruit? Yes. Bro, Lee, you're trolling.
I dig seeing it.
This is the power of vision control. Like, we know exactly where they are. They don't know where we are. Oh. Oh, that was not where I wanted to throw that Q. Yeah, I mean, it would be cool. I would say, you know, there always is just kind of a thing. I don't know if all professors feel this way, but there is still a stigma, especially among kind of the older generation with playing games. It's not exactly stigma. Not so much with young people. I don't think young people judge it like they would think it's cool, but like your colleagues, you know. The other professors, you know, that are all like 50 or something like that. Like, people will be polite about it. I don't know. Maybe people are just too afraid of what other people think, but it is one of those things. It's like when I go to the university gym too, I'm just like, I don't know, that's one where I'm just going to get, like, embarrassed, I think, my students. Although I do kind of like going to the gym. I need to be going more often. I've been pretty out of shape for years at this point. He could ult me, so I got to back out. I just remember at a previous university I was at, I was going in there trying to bench, and I hadn't been in there in a while, and there was just, like, this really petite girl that was in my class. She was probably on the track team or something, but she's just like cranking up more weight than I was, and I'm just like pretending I don't see her. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get like embarrassed in here.
Rampage.
I might still try out this Frozen Heart.
An enemy has been slain.
Petite, yeah, I mean, she looked like she probably weighed like 100 pounds or something like that. I don't know. She was in way better shape than I am, but just like embarrassed how little. That is a thing when you get older, like there's just a lot of stuff that you could just do a lot better when you were younger. I mean, that's just kind of how it works a lot of times, especially if you're rusty, so it just always feels kind of bad when you're so far off of what your peak was at one point. Because I used to be in, like, I mean, I wasn't, like, a college athlete or anything, but I played some intramural, like, volleyball, but I wasn't, you know, like, at a super high level. But I was in pretty damn good shape at a point there. I could run, like, an 8:15 3-mile and deadlift twice my body weight. But I am nowhere close to those numbers anymore.
I want to feel everything. That's the only way to live.
Unstoppable.
Well, I did have some hops. I could spike it, but we had people that were much taller than I. Like we had one guy was like 6'5" on the front line. I played I don't know what the position is called on the back. I forgot, but like I played the digger on the back usually because I had, you know, better lateral movement and reactions. I was usually the one blocking the spike, or not blocking, but trying to defend the spikes, which is really hard to do. But yeah, that was my thing. So we had a bunch of people that we had like 3 guys up front that were over 6 feet. One guy was, like I said, was like 6'5", really tall. And we had 2 people in the back.
Don't leave nothing. Bring it on.
It was it was sand volleyball. I mean, it was just intramural, so it wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't like super intense or anything, but it was fun. And I ran cross country in high school. I wasn't very fast by cross country standards. The average person on the team probably ran like a 17 something 3 mile. So I was one of the slowest people on the team, but it was just kind of fun for fitness. Probably don't want to fight this. Just have like a resting heart rate of like, I don't know, 42 beats a minute or something. That vampire heart rate. Yeah, that was a big shield. He's 0-4 too. He's 0-4, like down 30 CS, and he just like face tanked all of that. He doesn't even have any defensive items. He's going like Tiamat into like Cleaver probably. This item is expensive though. It is expensive.
They ain't ready for what I'm bringing.
Your team has
Yeah, I mean basically like your resting heart rate, unless you're having like some circulation problems or whatever, is a pretty good indicator of how strong your heart is, because that means it needs to pump, needs less pulses to move the same amount of blood, which means overall it's probably stronger.
Ecstasy needs a little.
And yeah, I mean that is a huge indicator of any sort of endurance activities you might be doing. Your heart's just way more efficient with less beats. So
gotta get myself hyped. Okay.
I thought about getting Z. I mean, I'm just trying out Frozen Heart. Frozen Heart is potentially getting buffed next week, so I'm just. I did some math on it too. It's actually fairly efficient. It's expensive though, but it is efficient once you get it.
They will remember my name.
Ornn's actually pretty good right now. Ornn's pretty good. There are some tanks that I think are pretty good in some situations, but I mean, Frozen Heart is definitely on the docket to get buffed. Now, I don't know, you know, if big tanks are going to get that or not. But as a support, it's like, it's cheaper than the other big tank items by a couple hundred gold, but still not sure if that's enough. We gotta be really careful here, except we don't want to throw around this fight.
More than I can remember.
If Darius starts getting resets, it could be bad. We're not up that much. We're up, but so we need to bait him, get him split up a little bit. Holly? Those are the days. I probably can't get the same numbers that I had, but I need to try to get back into shape. It really, honestly, it doesn't take that long to get into, like, pretty good shape. Well, it depends on where you're starting from. But I'm saying, like, hours in the gym. Like, even when I was deadlifting twice my body weight, I was only going to the gym for, like, 30 minutes a day. 30 minutes to an hour, maybe. Just doing, like, 3 different exercises. And just switching it up every day. A trainer guy had told me that, because I had been going in there for years, like many hours, you know, like 2 or 3 hours a lot of days, and he was just like, you're overworking your muscles, you're just not doing efficient workout, like, and so he put me on this other kind of schedule. It was way faster, but ended up being way more efficient too, and that worked for me. I don't have the old voice. But I really don't have an excuse not to. I literally walked by the university campus away in my car. I would recommend practicing at least a few games in normals before you jump into ranked. Did lose Dragon off that. Akali is getting a little gung-ho. She's really far ahead. She's got Assassinitis. Really need to finish stacking this item. Please, oh, there's gonna be other people that show up, man. Or not.
I dance because I'm free.
Can we come threaten the Baron?
I dance because I'm free.
I mean, we've got pressure.
Spirit, come in peace.
I'm gonna try to just distract and block for him. So I'm not really gonna contribute that much damage anyways. I'm just trying to spook him a little bit. Zone. Akali should be down there doing damage now. It's taking a bit long without Akali. I guess she can zone. We got him anyways. The Vayne though.
Enemy quadra kill. Aced.
Yeah, I shouldn't have gone for that, I guess. I almost got out. But they pulled me in. Wait, how did Cassadin even do damage? I thought I killed Oh, that was before the Baron.
Isaiah says someone has
Just
to
go for
die,
that one
they
here.
die. They deserve it.
Well, that was kind of a waste.
I have got to stop talking to myself. Damn it, Zion, where are you? I think they underestimate my charm. How is that even possible?
How the actual hell did they not die immediately? We just win? Just win, just win, just win.
Your ship has reached its conclusion. Come on!
No, get inhibitors first. Don't. No, dude, what the f— the dragon's gonna be there in 20 seconds, man. Get the inhibitor first. Get the dragon on the way. Like, you always want to do the most forward objective possible. Be real. I think we're gonna get it still. Right. Whoa, what?
Double kill.
We don't have enough wave. We don't have a big enough wave, I don't think. Whoa, 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 what? No, dude, no! Oh my gosh. Alright. Dude, get this red. Get the red. I mean, it's literally right there. They can't contest it. You giving it to me? What? Okay, let's wait on our 80 carry to run all the way across the map.
When you open your eyes,
I don't have vision, dude. Oh my God, are we doing this? Kind of low on mana too. Damn it, that kick though. Holy crap. If he didn't kick, Caston was dead, and I think we just flat out win the game off that. Why, like, what was he going for with that kick? What was the plan? Running so low on mana. Okay, we got it though. Did we make it without even losing a turn? That's pretty nice. Okay, he's saying that like he got carried so hard. He was 1 in 10. So you see, you can win games if you're playing the right way and you have like some decent people on your team. You definitely can win if there's that guy, that top laner goes 1 in 10 on your team. All right. Well, I hate to cash in early, but I do have to get up at like 6:30 because I do have conferences all day tomorrow with students from like 8:30 in the morning until 4:30 in the afternoon. Which I know a lot of people work, you know, like 9 to 5 job, but a lot of people also don't stay up till like 3 in the morning streaming and then do that. And you have to have like a lot of focus the entire time. Like I have to be helping students with essays. I can't just like zone out or do some busy work. So I have to try to be like kind of alert. So I need to get at least like 3 or 4 hours of sleep. Anyways. That's going to be it. Thank y'all very much. As always, I really appreciate it. I do have a video that's going to break down all of the proposed changes that are coming on patch 10.2, at least that Riot has talked about. So I'm breaking that down. It's about like a 50-minute, hour-long video. I'll put the timestamps in there for you. So be sure to check that out. And then we'll be back streaming tomorrow around 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. Getting tired. Be back tomorrow around 10. Hope to see everyone then. Have a good day.